We're back at the same essay and talking about how in the world do I close this. A closing can be one of the most difficult parts. You've already said everything. You've already told your story. You've already told what you've overcome. Now, how in the world do I wrap this up? If we envision an essay as broad to narrow, narrow to broad, it will really help you. The closing is the opposite of the opening. In the opening, let's go up here. Remember, you started broad. Moving in any age can be challenging, blah, 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 right? And came down to her thesis, moving schools and leaving my family was difficult, but overcoming everything was even harder. Broad to narrow. Now let's move down to the closing. That's it. This should be narrow and go to broad. Let's see how she did. Even though leaving family and moving schools was extremely difficult, there are many benefits it has on my life. So if you notice, that's her thesis, just reworded. Moving away has opened me up to many opportunities according to school, sports, friends, and a lot of other activities. Also, leaving so many things that were very close to me have made me a stronger person in a lot of different ways. I know that if I had never moved, I might not be as outgoing as I am now. Overcoming moving has affected my life in a negative and positive way. I am miles away from my family, and the worst part, my dad. The positive outlook of this situation that I have opened end up to my peers, I don't know what she meant there, and have become a stronger individual. Moving away from so many people I love is a win-lose situation, but has given me great opportunities to improve life. So she moved all the way to improve my life. So she started about moving schools and then broad to how her life has been improved. And she just kind of wandered through and gave chunks of how this has changed her life for the better and taken it to a broad perspective of her entire life. First thing you do on a closing is look up at that thesis, the last sentence of the opening, right here. Now that I have adjusted this one. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong paragraph. Whoops. This one, moving schools and leaving my family was difficult, but overcoming everything was even harder. Now let's look at that first sentence of her closing. Even though leaving family and moving schools was extremely difficult, there are many benefits it has on my life. So you see, she's taken it and tweaked it a little bit, wrapped it up in a positive way. So overall, open it, broad to narrow. 3 organized body paragraphs. This one was chronological, and it's a very easy way to organize a personal narrative. And then wrap it up, narrow to broad on your closing. And that is how you organize the closing of a personal narrative.